This video covers the MIDI transmit feature on the D-Lev. What I've done is taken a 5-pin DIN and soldered a double wire to it, like this. Right, and then I plugged it into the back of the controller here, board on the back of it. The expansion port here has a bunch of pins, and it's pin 7 and 8 actually here that I've plugged the MIDI cable into. And so I'm going to take this end then and plug it into our trusty RD700NX over here. Okay. So we keep it muted. We got a MIDI page. We have to give it a channel. I'll give it channel 1, and we can unmute it then. If you notice, what's going on here is when I change the pitch, nothing happens, and that's because the bend range down here. Let me turn that off. You have to be really careful with MIDI. It can get into crazy modes that you really can't get out of. So we're going to increase the bend to 24, and that'll give us ±2 octaves on the bend range. Unmute it again. So now we have control over the pitch, and we can do. If you noticed, when I went beyond a 2-octave range there, it re-triggered the note, and that's kind of what happens when you run out of pitch bend range, and then the pitch bend starts over from that point. So it starts. It centers up on the. It doesn't center up on the note. It centers up on where you are in the note when you first play it. And then it pitch bends off of that. And once you hit the limits, it re-triggers the note. You heard it there. And it's just something you have to kind of do. It's like the least obtrusive thing you can do for this kind of algorithm. So let us get some volume control over this. If we do a VLOC of, I don't know, maybe 32, that'll put the volume threshold right in between these two LEDs. And if we have velocity here on 0, we're getting a constant half velocity. If we have it set to 31, we get a constant full velocity. And if we put it somewhere in between, we can control the velocity with the way we play our left hand. Want more velocity? So you can see me playing here. Play it percussively, but it's more like playing a piano like this. You have no control over the decay once it's started. So how do we get control over the volume when we're playing? Well, we can use one of the CCs here. Whoa. Okay. So on the quick reference, we see there a bunch of CCs here. If we do, we could use 7 for volume. We could use maybe 11 for the expression. Sometimes things respond to the breath controller. There's just a variety of things you can try here to try to get your MIDI synthesizer to work with the data that's output. We can vary the data that's output. So let's try 7. And for these lower ones, you can do either plus or minus. And plus will give you 14 bits of data going out to the synthesizer. Negative values will give you 7 bits. So let's do 7. We'll go to MIDI page, and we'll give it a CC of 7. Okay, and then we'll put a C-loc here, maybe of the same 30, 32, and enable the output. So you can see that we have control over the volume now. And what we probably want to do is take away the velocity and maybe give it full velocity. And we might also want to make the C-loc kick in, I think, above. Yeah, the V-loc kick in below. So what this will do is the note will play, but the volume will be turned off when it plays, so we'll miss that kind of initial attack. So that's the way you make it. You know, these percussive sorts of sounds sound more like, sound more like a theremin with a more controlled and shaded volume. So we can also control the octave here. Kind of fun. And and that octave there would be kind of independent of the octave that you're playing the internal voice with. So I think you saw all of the MIDI pretty much, and we'll move on to something else.